Is this thing on? Webcam intro! Yeah! Look at this! Yeah, I did this many years ago. So let's talk about Inktober again. Here we are again at the beginning of a new October, or Inktober, since that's what I want to talk about a little bit in this video. And actually this year I almost missed out on it. Well, it's not that I missed out on it, but I was relatively busy and I didn't even notice that we were a couple of days into October, and I still didn't, well, not just that I didn't start with my drawings, I didn't even have time to think about and to come up with something that I really wanted to do this Inktober. And this is also when it's relatively easy to give up on challenges or tasks that we want to give to ourselves, since there are no real stakes behind it. We can give up on our personal projects, and that's why many artists have personal projects lingering around in their heads for years or maybe forever, and they never get done, is because we don't really have this stake that is bound to it. So it just doesn't need to be done necessarily. And for me this year it was exactly this with Inktober. I was relatively busy, especially in the first couple of days going up to the start of October, and yeah, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do. Not the first couple of times, but I had 2 years where I was doing these really fun adventure guy, and I was taking him through adventures, every adventure and every day was following the prompt that were the normal Inktober prompts. And this year I just didn't come up with anything like that, and I don't know, I was missing creativity to come up with something good that I also really liked. And then sort of yesterday I realized that, hey, come on, we need to do something, especially since my last video was about procrastination. And not that this is procrastination, but I was giving advice how to get myself to draw, so I thought, okay, let me just do that here. Like what would be an interesting thing, because whenever you draw you have to have fun with it, right? Drawing is about having fun, at least for me. That's why I want to draw. And I realized that, okay, so what was last year's Inktober, for me at least, and it was all cars. I still use the prompts, the official Inktober prompts, but I tried to do interesting cars based on that. And since I just drew a couple of starships the last day, I thought, oh yeah, that's actually fun, because I do like this sort of traditional sketching, and also I haven't done ink wash in a while. So how fun it would be, at least for me, if I can combine ink drawing with a little bit of ink wash, and I just have 30 days of really fun sci-fi vehicle sketching. So yeah, that's how I sort of convinced myself that to do it and to put in the extra energy, even though I didn't feel like it. It was one of those rainy weekend days where it's fantastic to stay inside and play video games, and I really loved that, and I didn't want to stop and start drawing. But as soon as I came up with this idea, I sort of not just convinced myself, but also made myself enthusiastic for this idea, and I immediately jumped into it and started drawing, and yeah, here we go. This is where we are now. This was one of the first drawings. Actually, I made 4 drawings yesterday just to catch up with the 4 lost days of Inktober, and I'm going to continue with this idea of coming up with different sort of spaceships based on the daily prompts. And since it's Inktober, like this year there was some sort of drama around it. I'm not gonna go into that because I don't particularly care about it, but like one thing that I just wanted to say about this is that no matter what the history, drama, whatever around it is, if you can find an excuse to draw and draw more and just get better at the craft, just take that excuse. Don't worry about, do it for yourself. Don't do it for the cloud. Don't do it because some people want you or some people don't want you to do it. If you know that you will get better, or if you know that you will get something out of drawing every day, just do that. Don't worry about calling it Inktober or whatever. Just the important thing is that you draw for yourself and that you're having fun. And that's what I also want to just sort of convey here, that as soon as you make it fun for yourself, and as soon as it's positive for you, and it's not negative for anybody else, just don't worry about the whole thing swirling around it. Just do your best and have fun. And let me talk a little bit about the process here as well, which, well, you guys, if you follow me for a longer time, you sort of know my process. The only difference is here is that this is a mixed media sketchbook that I use here, where I like to be a little bit more illustratory, which, well, in this case means that when I do my general industrial design type of sketching, I like to use long lines, quick lines, and just marker over it. And when I do illustrator stuff, I draw it out first with a pencil, and I try to bring in as much detail as I can. And as you can see here, I do exactly that. And then I go over it with fine liners. Now, the difference is when I go over it with fine liners, I don't do the quick and fast straight lines as much. I just draw nice and slowly and try to follow my lines that I have there. And with that, I end up with a little bit more wobbly. That's also why I call it more illustratory look, because it's not the typical industrial design type sketching that you guys are used from me. So here I sort of mix the two, because I found for my technical stuff, unless I really want it to look like very cartoony, I usually go for industrial design sketching, and then when I want it to be cartoony and illustratory, then I go for this first pencil and then just nicely follow the lines. And this is sort of a mix, because I do first the pencil, but I don't follow the lines nicely. I really do this almost like if I was drawing over with a fine liner over marker sketches. So when I have a marker sketch and I go over the fine liner, it's sort of that stronger energy that I have here, which is interesting. I'm not sure if I like it so much. I still, so the interesting thing is, one approach, the illustratory approach, is like I'm trying to really sculpt out a drawing and try to make it a little bit cartoony. Meanwhile, the industrial designer approach, I'm not sculpting something in my head, or I'm not sculpting that something there. I'm actually just sketching with a fine liner. So I'm making a lot of extra lines. So I'm sort of stuck in between. I don't have that many extra lines, but it also feels just a little bit more restrictive, I would say. Yeah, and then the rest is just ink wash, which means that I have some nice India ink that I take just a little bit out of it and put it onto my watercolor trace, and I add a couple of droplets of water, and I have like, I think 3 compartments, and I put less and less, or more and more and more water, thus making the ink more diluted. So then I have these different types of values. Well, not types, just different values. Light gray, darker gray, and darker gray going towards black. And I'm still a little bit afraid working too much with black, but it's almost like taking a gray marker and just quickly going over the shadows. And I quite like the effect. I find it really fun, because you can achieve some sort of watercolor effects as well with it. You can pre-water the area and drop in more ink. Not so much on this paper. This paper is good for like 1 or 2 washes, but everything more than that and the paper just dies, sadly. But I think it sort of, I can achieve with this what I wanted, and I can convey the message. So yeah, in the end it is really fun to draw like this, I must say. I'm having a ton of fun with this. And that's where I will stop talking for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are also going to do Inktober or some sort of drawings and just have fun during this month and be inspired. As always, if you like this video, click that like button, subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. You can follow me on Instagram for more drawing related updates. You can also support me by buying some Gumroad videos that I have. Take a look if you like any of them, links in the description down below. But as always, the most important part is that you guys have a great time, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Do you think I want this?